That's like winning a race right there. Thanks. So yeah, I'm Ryan Dexter. I live in Verona. I'm going to talk about running ultra marathons, which are considered anything further than a marathon. I kind of expected this slide to already go. But yeah, I've been running for a while. Yeah, this is kind of what my wife says ultra marathons are like. It's kind of like watching The Walking Dead. You don't really know who's a zombie or who's not. Ultra running's kind of been said to be the kind of thing where the participants spend money to get in, but it's the spectators that get to enjoy the show. Ultra running is, wow, they're going fast. Ultra running is anything further than a marathon, like I said, and here's different distances. I've gone up to 200 miles. There's people out there that go way further than that, and different race types. They run on roads or on a track. I've actually run over 500 straight laps on a track once, and yeah. I'm an introvert, so this is really hard for me. I like alone time. But why do we do, the trails, when we talk about trails, I mean, these are serious trails. This gives you kind of an idea. Boston Marathon is way down there. So when they talk about, the horrible hill at the end, I mean, these are crazy. But why do I do ultra running? Because I love to eat. I can eat anything I want. A few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I moved to Verona, and my neighbor saw me running. He's like, wow, this guy running all the time. And I always see him eating junk and eating food all the time. I'm going to do it. So he started running and ran a marathon just because he saw that I could eat everything. But why else do I run? Because it feels so good when I stop. And it feels like the more I need to run just to get that feeling of like I've done something. But what pushes me and why I kept going and trying something beyond a marathon was that you just kind of never know what you can do until you actually try. And the speakers that have been here, and I'm sure this is kind of what we're going to see, is that what's next. And it got me to run a 100-mile, and this was my first 100-mile race, which is about a decade ago. It was Western States. It's out in California. It's really crazy and hilly. I was one of the last finishers. They give you 30 hours to finish, and I was one of the last. But it inspired me to keep trying, and the first talk was like, if you fall down, get back up. That's what I kept doing, just kept trying. And I ended up getting quoted in Trail Runner because I've been doing this for a while, and it was like the logical progression is 200 miles, and I ended up trying that. And this was the race in Vermont that I ended up doing. It's a 10-mile loop. You end up covering about 50,000 feet, like 50,000 feet of elevation gain. But there's nothing special about me. I guess that's the point. I'm really just completely normal, and I'm just like all of you, and I just like a challenge. And once you get into your mind that you can do something, there's really no stopping. I mean, God made us with this awesome mind, and if you have a body that just can barely work, your mind will overcome those things. This is just my shout out because people say, well, how can you do it? How can you keep doing it? Well, I use products from a company called Carbo Pro, and this is a stage shot with my wife. We actually don't have all this fun that it looks like we do, but those are the products I use, and foot problems are typically the issue. That's what stopped me in a lot of races. I've had as many failures as I've had successes, and that's probably, we all have that story. What we tend to forget about the failures and the successes just go. But the things that stop me are my feet and chafing. If you can imagine being out there for 60 some hours straight, just try standing and watching TV. But if you're actually moving, the amount of chafing you get, I haven't found anything that works. But that's some ideas. But I do this stuff because like I said, you kind of fail in races, but it's really just the enjoyment of being out there and just loving what you're doing. And if you can do anything and just have fun, that's what it's all about. And this is, when we talk about running, we're running through the night. We're running in woods. You've got big headlamps, and we try and make it light. But there's really no limit, and your body's going to tell you stop, and everything's going to tell you stop, but you want to keep going. This is kind of cool, and these are my 3 kids a long time ago when they were younger, but I'm hoping what I'm doing kind of sets a good example for them. But I was able to raise some money for the free wheelchair mission on one of my races, and I was able to donate about 200 wheelchairs on some of the race. So I was trying not to make it so about me and more about, something that I could, because when you tell people I'm going to run 200 miles, it's like, wow, that blows their mind. It gives you an opportunity to talk about different things. But it's all about fun. And this is a quote from Tom Bunk, who's actually a cool ultra runner out of Milwaukee. just get out there and do it. If you're running, you're doing better than jogging. If you're jogging, you're doing better than walking. If you're walking, you're doing better than sitting. So just get out there and do anything. I didn't run more than 3 miles before I started running this. Like 3 miles seemed like a huge amount. And I know that's where a lot of you are right now. And that seemed like that to me too. And I was able to just say, okay, if I can do 3 miles, well, maybe I can do 10. If I can do 10, maybe I can do that. And that's how it all builds. There's no limit to what you can do. So I hope that's a little bit inspirational, but thank you.